Hello everyone and now welcome to a 1v1 matchup and all the randoms matchup taking place here on Shallow Grave. Foggy has spawned as the red orc here over here on the bottom right hand side of the map. Thank you for that zoom out, Foggy. Meanwhile over here we have Inspired spawning as the yellow human. Alright, so human versus orc in a 1v1 matchup. Everything is random. Your race, the heroes you get, not the unit you train, obviously. I guess that's not all that obvious. But yeah, I'm letting you know, heroes and races are random. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down here, as all the random games tend to open up with some very different types of interesting strategies, because you can't even really plan the type of hero you're gonna get. Once you get your hero, you have to adapt and figure out what type of play you want. It looks as though it's going to be grunts coming in from Foggy instead of trying to go for a war mill and try to get headhunters early on, as grunts are a bit more versatile. If suddenly you get a very weak melee hero, or something that you're not quite familiar with, you want to be able to have grunts to try and soak up some of that damage. Coming back across over here, we are looking at two random heroes, footmen being trained on one side. Meanwhile, there should be grunts trained here in just a moment. Foggy is going to be going into a war mill behind this, but the timing on this war mill allows him to train up grunts or headhunters based on the hero that pops on out. Segmenos, yes, it is good to be back. I'm only going to be casting one game today, most likely, but I am very much looking forward to this 1v1 matchup between Foggy and Inspired. Promises to be a good, entertaining match, as it is a Goblin Alchemist first from Foggy. Meanwhile, it is a Naga Sea Witch coming first from Inspired. All right, what abilities are they going to go ahead and try and train going after that Forest Troll High Priest? However, that Forest Troll, those cold arrows do not slow down the effect there, as we're looking at some damage already being added up there. All right, Mud Golem going to try and head and reach their way back. Meanwhile, going to go ahead and engage, and I just realized I cut myself very lightly on my knife yesterday when I was sharpening it. Things you notice when you're playing with your other hand. Forest Troll Warlord gonna get taken down. Naga Sea Witch will get close to level 2, and well, we'll get to level 2 after these last Forest Troll Trappers and these last units are cleared on up. Meanwhile, we're looking at Foggy being very aggressive with this creep pattern, taking on his opponent's creeps here, going after the rogue, and now going after perhaps some additional units across here, as that is, well, a bit of a problem, as they all have frost armor. Goblin Tinker now making its way off to the north. It can drop more Clockwork Goblins here in just a moment. Going to try to perhaps dance around. A little bit of damage coming in across from the footman here, as those Clockwork Goblins, well, that last guy gets taken down, giving the Goblin Tinker a bit more experience. Tech to tier 2 already underway. Headhunters are now being added out across the map. No tech to tier 2 as of yet, as the Naga Sea Witch, well, desperately tries to save that low hit point Mud Golem. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Good to be back. It's well, always fun to have some commentary and other comments as I'm casting my games, as it gives me a little bit more interaction with the community. All right, coming back around here, the Goblin Tinker absorbing a lot more damage than I would have expected, down to 600 hit points, and it looks as though, yeah, another low hit point footman able to escape. And what is going on there? Wow, a burning archer mercenary nearly taking down that unit all the way back, and the Scroll of Town Portal back home. Goblin Tinker not having those healing salves as of yet. Foggy trying to find his way, find his positioning once more. Could have a little bit of problems. Could throw down a Clockwork, a Pocket Factory, and then try to use more and more headhunters. Meanwhile, there are a good number of mercenaries out on the other side of the map as well. The Spiderlings, the Grunts, trying to perhaps get a little bit lucky overall. That one Draenei Disciple does in fact have a bit of heals, and now we're going to look at a Goblin Tinker try to make its way back out across here. All right, Grunt's going to try and engage that Spiderling, going to easily get taken out. Naga Sea Witch going to put some pressure onto the Goblin Tinker, already down to 115 hit points. I can't imagine it's going to actually stay nearby in this position at all, as there are still some more heals going down as well. All right, this could potentially be a problem. The searing arrows on those burning archer deals significant damage as the units are now trying to retreat back. 29 supply compared to 34 as the militia and the peasants now finishing off the remainder of the creep camp here. It looks as though Inspired is playing an inspired game of random Warcraft, getting up to level 3 on the Naga Sea Witch already and looking to put some pressure here. All right, pure up the vitality. Can he perhaps finish it off? No, the Naga Sea Witch will be able to pick it up, and now that Naga Sea Witch is just that much stronger. Goblin Tinker does get up to level 2. The footmen do have defend as the Clockwork Goblins are starting to, well, take a little bit of a toll on these units. Is the Headhunter going to finish off a footman? Yes, it does. No reflection back there as another Headhunter could get taken down if it is not lucky. All right, that Draenei Disciple really working overtime to try and keep all of these units alive, but it does not look like it is going to work out well. There goes another Headhunter too. All right, more damage could be added up. Another footman could get taken down as the Goblin Tinker now get 2.5 already, as the Naga Sea Witch is as about 3.5 as well. All right, more damage coming across. This footman not realizing, hey, you don't really want to be in this engagement. Going to give the Foggy a bit more experience once more. Salamander Hatchling coupled alongside some other units here. I'm sorry, these are not all your typical mercenaries that you see on maps. And with that said, well, Dark Ranger now going to go ahead and get trained up. All right, so Dark Ranger trained up in the middle once more. We'll see what's going to be coming of that Ultra of Storm. So Dark Ranger, Goblin Tinker making their way out, going up against a Naga Sea Witch. There's a sleep on the Tinker. And, well, the sleeping Tinker is going to have a very bad day. He's going to try and retreat all the way back home. There is nothing to try and will make any sort of plays here, as that Goblin Tinker is just going to end up feeding more experience. Dark Ranger now trying to make his way. Wait, what was that? The Goblin Tinker able to run around and able to kind of escape here, but asleep now being cast by the other units. Scroll of Speed on that Goblin Tinker coupled with a healing salve, and it will be able to make it out. I thought for certain that was a dead god unit. Not the case there, as one final black arrow finishes off that little minion over there. But remember, that wasn't actually an undead skeletal minion, and so skeletal minions could not make their way back out from that unit. Dark Ranger now trying to retreat back. So many interactions to try and keep track of in the Warcraft 3 engine. Burning Archers are skeletal units, therefore do not are skeletal undead units. Therefore, they do not have skeletons upon death. Therefore, Black Arrow does not work as well. Are heroes random as well? Yes, heroes are random. Hence, well, I guess you can't really tell right now, since all of the heroes we are looking at are tavern heroes. It could have been that Foggy tried to train up a Goblin Tinker into a Dark Ranger, but it can be random enough. You can get a Warden as an Orc player, an Archmage as an Undead. All of those are possibilities as well. Coming back off to the north here, we are now teching the Tier 2 by Inspired. Inspired is going to want to try and use as many mercenaries as he can to make up that difference in tech. He has the additional gold, so hiring those mercenary units are not going to be a problem, as the level 3 Goblin Tinker and the level 1 Dark Ranger should be able to flood the map pretty easily. All right, Pocket Factory should be trying to pop out some units here in just a moment, but down to the south we see a bit of problems. Salamander hatching, putting pressure onto the burrow. We do not have the War Mill getting up the fortified armor, and that is a problem there as the units are trying to engage. Bench of peons are repairing, and it looks as though one footman will get taken down. The repairs are going to work, and fortified armor upgrade should be considered, as Foggy doesn't want to fall pressure to hero damage and piercing damage onto those orc burrows. Off to the north here, the Pocket Factory, well, it looks like it is coming to an end once more. Dark Ranger is going to get to level 2, even with the Goblin Tinker nearby. I believe there's just enough experience to go around, as we see a Tome of Intelligence dropped there. All right, Goblin Tinker. Are we going to see Robo Goblin as that third and final hero, as the ultimate ability? And what will be the third and final hero coming in from these players if they do go for Tier 3? All right, Foggy still not opting to go for additional upgrades, fortified upgrades. A little bit cautious about that, as we're looking at Inspired off to the north here. The Salamander Hatchling, the Dark Troll High Priest, and so many other units. We have Unholy Frenzy on the Naga Sea Witch with True Shot Aura as well. Not quite sure what units, the Unbroken Darkweaver, perhaps the one getting all of those abilities off. And we did see Sleep earlier, so Sleep was used pretty aggressively, and was able to be picked up from a mercenary. All right, the Dark Ranger going to be trying to retreat back here. Spirit Link, Arcane Tower doing in some of that, a lot of that damage here, as the Black Arrows now finding their targets to try and pick off more and more of these peasants and then turn them into, well, skeletal minions. All right, continuing that pressure once more. Raider trying to get into position here, but this is just a difficult fight. Very, very strong Sim City to prevent many of that damage, as there's 4 towers here protecting the expansion. All right, that location very difficult to take out now unless we start to go for some sort of demolishers or some sort of strong ranged unit. One lone footman out across the map here, scouting out Foggy's expansion here at the 3 o'clock location. I don't know what map, I don't know what flag that is. So if anyone out there can tell me what country Inspired is from, please definitely let me know. I haven't had to study maps or flags. I don't know, did I ever have to study flags? No, I don't remember. Coming back across here, we're looking at, well, the Naga Sea Witch, Rogue Wizard, and Ogre Warrior. All of these units going to go ahead and try and engage here. And this army, it's so difficult to try and tell which units are actually units of Inspired and which ones are creeps. We have a Murloc Mutant. Not sure what abilities that Murloc Mutant has, but it does in fact have mana. So the Murloc Mutant does have spells it can cast. Use Turkey. All right, so coming back around, Inspired does get ensnared. Raiders are going to go ahead and for that classic ensnare to try and finish off some units. And Foggy is starting to find his footing with the Orc army. Meanwhile, Inspired's army is just this giant grab bag of tricks that you just quite don't know what to expect. We saw Sleep earlier, we saw Unholy Frenzy earlier, and I'm still curious as to what that Murloc Mutant can do. Meanwhile, Inspired gets a Farseer as the second hero. Once again, it is completely random. A Farseer as that second hero, not the hero perhaps that he was looking for. And how will he try and use that Farseer? That is the question. All right, continuing to fight back around. Rock Golem is going to give level 3 to that Dark Ranger. Level 3 Dark Ranger means level 2 Black Arrows, but a lot of healing is going to be necessary. You can see the Raiders in the backfield, Spirit Walkers, all of these units are relatively low on hit points. Even the Kodo Beast would need a bit of healing salve, as well as we see the Goblin Tinker get up to level 4. Level 4 Goblin Tinker with a decent amount of plus damage. Those Mantles of Intelligence coupled with the War Drums giving plus 14 damage for that Goblin Tinker in that frontline spot. All right, I think Goblin Tinker, one of the few intelligence-based heroes that are melee, as we're looking at the Farseer absorbing a lot of damage and needs to get healed back up once more. Healing salves or some sort of caster's priest may be necessary as well. All right, did we see Staff of Teleportation, Naga Sea Witch perhaps going to buy some items to heal up once again. Healing salves, come on, where is it? What is this Murloc Mutant casting? I was not really paying attention. Off to the north, we see Silence straight up onto that Ogre Lord. Spirit Link getting cast across multiple units here, as the Ogre Lord could end up getting taken down before a Shockwave goes across. Goblin Tinker could pick up that Cloak of Flames. Useful ability right there, as it would deal damage across all of the units here. And more importantly, the Forest Troll High Priest has not been able to get heals off either. That's been a big or that's often a big problem on a map like this. Or what, Tome of Strength not picked up? Come on, pick it up. 50 hit points. Foggy, better than that. All right, Fortified Armor has been completed. We do see, Footmen fighting up against Peons here. We are at the fortress, but I don't see a third hero coming in from Foggy as of yet. One lone Footman absorbing a bit of damage. You can see the Peons are trying to chase after to take down that Footman here, and it looks as that Footman will end up just getting surrounded. Could have actually been in a better position earlier, as one last Peon going to get in that hit and finish it off. All right, a little bit of experience perhaps to go around. Where is the army? Army is down across here and spread out across here. Kodo Beast going to get a little bit unlucky. Chain Lightning. Are we going to perhaps get some more cold arrows? One more final shot. Cold arrow in the back. Kodo Beast gets taken down. All right, new Kodo Beast may be trained up. Foggy likes that additional damage bonus across the army. Meanwhile, Dark Ranger does have an Ankh of Reincarnation in addition to a scroll of protection. Off to the north, Dark Minion, making sure that no one is trying to expand off over there. Got a fun mirror game. Well, gonna go ahead and try and engage here. What is this? Farms and scout towers being placed. I'm not quite sure what the farm is for. A little bit of a SimCity action to create a bit of a wall here as the units are now trying to dive on in. Chain that looked like a chain lightning, but it didn't chain onto any other units. Not quite sure how that worked, as we're going to be going into an engagement here. Great Hall needs some repairs. Spirit Wolves are getting some damage there, as the Spirit Walkers are continuing to try and get in some more repairs. We are going into Taurens, so Foggy is going to be using Taurens with Spirit Walkers as his late game strategy, perhaps to try and pulverize the human Naga Sea Witch Farseer army. Spirit Link getting cast across multiple places. There's Fork Lightning. Oh, it's a Fork Lightning, not Chain Lightning, coming back across. And now we are looking at another bit of units there. All right, more damage getting pushed on through. The Spirit Walkers trying to push on in. This is a rather narrow corridor, but there is no real home field advantage, as some Salamander hatchings and some other units could get taken down. Dark Ranger now gets up to level 4, and the Tauren in that front line able to pulverize their way. That is some major damage across the Riflemen and those Spellbreakers for every pulverize. But remember, the Taurens are also currently being slowed, and they are not really dishing out that much damage, absorbing quite a bit, and now getting taken down as well. Foggy has a bunch of Tauren in the backline position, unable to really closely engage here, as the Spirit Walkers are still only at adept training, unable to resurrect any of those units, or resurrect and call them back. All right, more damage coming back on through. More raiders more units getting taken down. Goblin Tinker continuing to throw down the pressure. Goblin Tinker sitting at level 4. Perhaps they can finish off some additional units. There goes some additional units there, as now we see level 5 on that Goblin Tinker. Goblin Tinker could go for level 3 Pocket Factory, as well as we'll see whether or not the Spirit Walkers finish their adept training. This is quite a bit of a problem to not have that ancestral training completed, as those Taurens are rather expensive, and those expensive Taurens now not getting resurrected and back out onto the battlefield. All right, a major misstep by Foggy to not have that ability research now, as the Staff of Teleportation going to come back in and come back around. All right, Scout Tower is already upgrading. Peasants are trying to repair, and here we are going to dive on in. Fork Lightning coming back across the other side. Arcane Vault absorbing quite a bit of damage. Chain Lightning bouncing back around the other side as well, as the Naga Sea Witch trying to put in pressure. All right, Clockwork Goblins now coming back across as the Arcane Vault take it down. Dark Rangers continuing to put in pressure. Level 4 now on the Farseer. Level 5, level 4 going up against level 5, level 4, as well as the Goblin Tinker pushing his way through. Dark Rangers still seeing that level 4. Perhaps some more black arrows will generate some more minions here, but there's not that many frontline units, as Inspired picks up an Ogre Magi and now has access to Bloodlust. All right, bloodlusting units attacking rather quickly, but Silence quickly shutting things down there, as the Ogre Magi going to get finished off in no time flat. Continuing this pressure, 58 supply compared to 54. Riflemen and now Inspired forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal to head back away, as the Spirit Walkers are still getting taken down pretty easily. All right, Foggy getting up an additional Tauren here. Spirit Walkers still without that additional training to try and resurrect units. Not quite sure what is going on or the reasoning behind that, but there were a couple of skeletons on the ground that could have been resurrected already. Kodo Beast currently in the belly of or Spellbreaker currently in the belly of the Kodo Beast here, as we're looking at the Dark Ranger perhaps trying to get to level 5 here for that level 3 Black Arrow, but also picks up an Orb of Lightning. So interesting call there, not able to use level 3 Black Arrows if the Orb of Lightning effect is underway. Coming back around here, over here on the bottom left-hand side of the map, Inspired looking to set up another expansion. Tome of Strength +2, not getting picked up for some odd reason, as the Farseer, perhaps with already 950 hit points, doesn't need that extra 50 hit points at all. Naga Sea Witch will be getting to level 6 momentarily, and that is going to open things up for Tornado, that ultimate ability. 2 Demolishers would have been sick there, only Robo Tinker can help, yeah. This is just a crazy game, trying to figure out all of the different styles of play and coming up with overall relevant strategies. So far, though, the Spirit Walker is still only at Adept training, not going into that higher tier, so not able to resurrect Fallen Tauren at all. Coming back around, all right, Naga Sea Witch may actually get up to level 6 based off of, yes, peons, and there's a level 6 Naga Sea Witch there, and now having access to Tornado. Taurens are getting into position as well. Goblin Tinker running its way back over. Dark Ranger could also be benefiting from those additional mantles of intelligence as well, but perhaps more Clockwork Goblins to put in a bit more pressure. All right, Pocket Factory cranking out some of those units, making their way out and around the map. Peons being transferred over as Inspired should be trying to set up an expansion here, but is actually currently low on lumber. All right, perhaps a bit of a misstep here. Perhaps a lumber mill could be added in to try and harvest before trying to go into a different play here, as the Naga Sea Witch does have invisibility from help of the Sorceress and could try and, well, pick off some additional units once more. All right, I believe the hero skill takes priority over the orb if enabled. Yes, it does. Tornado plus Earthquake soon. Yeah, a base kill or base destruction could be inbound here in just a moment. What is this Naga Sea Witch going to do? Naga Sea Witch has a Staff of Teleportation. I would have thought a Scroll of Town Portal would be necessary, as Inspired walks on inside here. And based on this, yep, there is the Tornado, and that is a lot of damage racked up on these buildings. One burrow down, another burrow down, and more burrows could get taken down here. Silence going to perhaps needs to come across onto the Naga Sea Witch. There it goes, taking down multiple buildings. A Staff of Teleportation should already be used in order to head back out. There's an ensnare, and that was the problem. Not having a Scroll of Town Portal is gonna do in this Naga Sea Witch, using Mana Shield as much as it can, and Foggy just says, thank you for the experience. Thank you very, very much. Level 6 Naga Sea Witch gets taken down as it had a one-way ticket. You cannot count on, well, a Staff of Teleportation to get you out of tricky situations if your opponent has a Raiders and a Dark Ranger. Coming back around the other side here, Goblin Tinker going to drop some Pocket Factories, perhaps try and put some pressure here as well. And this Goblin Tinker himself is actually in quite a difficult spot. All right, these, is this... Oh, the Clockwork Goblins are just making their way over. They're going to get pelted down as long as they're rallied there. As long as they're rallied and they don't do a little hesitant stop, they will actually deal damage to that guard tower on death. That is just a question. If it rallied off to the north there, it would work out a bit better. But no, it actually does a little bit of a stutter stop. There it goes, getting some damage. Those peasants are on auto repair. Meanwhile, Spirit Wolf trying to finish off some of these peons as well. Burrow now, well, fighting back once more. In comes the army here as the Naga Sea Witch is resurrected back out here onto the battlefield, but that's not how you want to be spending your gold, resurrecting units, as we now see a little bit of an engagement here. All right, Tauren are actually in the backfield going up against a peasant instead of trying to go up against all of these spellbreakers in that front line, as they have been slowed down consistently. Down to the south here, well, nothing happening. Fork Lightning coming back across. Spirit Walkers now finally have that mastery training and will be able to resurrect those Tauren when the time comes. All right, low hit point Raider able to back away, but still taking quite a bit of damage. Could get taken down by an Arcane Tower, and it does. All right, Spirit Walker or Tauren's Dark Ranger getting up to level 6. That changes everything, as now we have Charm. All right, Charm now on the table to try and grab units from your opponent, and Foggy is just going to be using Charm for days as the Arcane Towers realize, wait a second, we cannot allow that Dark Ranger to have any mana whatsoever. All right, no mana there any longer. Scroll of Healing being used there. Inspired, trying to still figure out this game, as we are looking at the Goblin Alchemist getting taken down at level 5. Ankh of Reincarnation was on that Alchemist. It will be popping back up, has a little bit of hit points left, as the pressure is still coming on underway. More Tauren are getting resurrected, as well as this expansion trying to get its legs underneath it so far. A lot of Pocket a lot of Clockwork Goblins actually not joining in on the battle for some strange reason, as Taurens are still getting taken out. Spirit Walkers, I don't believe they have enough mana either, as this is a very mana-intensive army, as the Spirit Walker comes in from the far side, not realizing that this is not where it wants to be, tries to disenchant some things off and gets taken down anyways. I believe it was in the ethereal form as it walked into an army of casters, taking a lot of bonus damage. Militia now coming in from the other side. Foggy may have overstayed his welcome as well, as the Scroll of Town Portal now underway, trying to retreat back, able to teleport away once more. A massive, massive battle on both sides suffering major losses, but the story of that battle is the Dark Ranger got to level 6. Now, once you have Charm on that Dark Ranger, as long as it has mana, can every 45 seconds is just essentially trading mana for a unit. And if you have potions of mana on that hero as well, it just seems to be forever and a day. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mantles of Intelligence were transferred to the Dark Ranger after it got a little bit more mana, just so that it has a higher capacity and can continue to do exactly that. Goblin Tinker could have a very, very bad day here. Where is it trying to go? Picks up double scrolls of healing and now trying to run around the other side. Foggy should go back while the Tauren corpses are still there. That could be a possibility as well, as the Goblin Tinker going to try and engage here. Could end up getting surrounded. What is Foggy doing? And Foggy gifts back. Or is it going to gift back? It looks as though the Tinker has a way to rejoin up with the rest of the army. All right, Goblin Tinker could have given more experience back to the other side. There's some Spirit Link getting cast down as well. Dark Ranger could try and get a charm in on a Spellbreaker once more. And then, yep, there's that charm on the Spellbreaker, and now retreating back with it again. All right, keeping. Now, if you feel that Charm is a very powerful ability, it is. And then when you realize its cooldown is only 45 seconds, well, that just changes the pacing of the game completely. The Nagas, that Dark Ranger may be able to charm off another unit, as its cooldown is already halfway done if another engagement does start and begin. All right, we could be looking at a fork line. We're looking at some sort of engagement here. Spellbreakers are trying to keep their distance away from that Dark Ranger, as the arrows are going to start flying and engaging here. There's Scroll of Protection, and what is going down there is that Naga Sea Witch. Are we going to see a silence? Yes, we're just going to see a straight up silence there. And now another charm is underway, ready for that Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger going to go ahead and charm another unit once more. And this is the battle here. Foggy just needs mana and doesn't want to use too much mana from that Dark Ranger to continually charm away some of those units here. All right, continuing to battle it forth. Kodobi is going to, well, perhaps try and eat up some of those units as well. Spellbreaker of Foggy going to end up getting taken down in the back as well, as we're looking at the Clockwork Goblins just trying to explode and get some damage there as well. Goblin Tinker down to 88 hit points. It gets taken down, giving level 6 to the Farseer. Level 5 Goblin Tinker taken down, as we're going to be looking at some resurrections on those Tauren, and those Tauren could just be trying to max out some of their damage as well. Dark Ranger looking to get perhaps in another possession or another charm here in just a moment, as that low hit point Tauren down to 9 hit points does get taken down. No possession in time, as I don't believe there was quite enough mana. All right, resurrection on that Tauren once more back out onto the battlefield. That is another way to get a good, trading mana for gold, essentially, as you're able to resurrect fallen Tauren, and then, well, the Dark Ranger able to charm out so many of those units as well. Foggy continuing to crank out some of those units. It works on Rankers. Charm is the game winner here. Yeah, I do believe so. Charm being able to charm those Spellbreakers, meaning that, well, you have nothing that you can really do. Your front line is just going to be slowly picked off by that Dark Ranger pretty consistently. The Dark Ranger, curiously enough though, what is going on here? Oh, there's some damage. Now needs to back away. The Dark Ranger had over 200 mana at one point, but the Arcane Tower is able to feed back some of that damage pretty quickly and easily. Raiders Spellbreakers, Spirit Walkers making their way through. Farseer. Oh, is this going to turn into an earthquake monsoon battle to try and take down some of these buildings here? All right. Do they have Scrolls of Town Portal? I do believe they do. There's an earthquake to try and take down the expansion. Meanwhile, off to the north, there is a tornado to try and take down this expansion here. Where are you going to go? I believe both heroes have Scrolls of Town Portal. They're not going to make the same mistake twice, as Inspired is looking to shut down the expansions here. And this could be the difference. It needed to put damage onto the Great Hall and was unable to finish it off. Meanwhile, this one is nearly completed. Chain Lightning now trying to finish off some of these units here as the Shadow Wolves continuing to put all of this pressure. There's some disenchants there, giving level 6 to the Goblin Tinker, and now we have the Robo Goblin out onto the battlefield as well. In comes some Chain Lightning to finish things off here, and both buildings were so close to getting taken down, and it looks like it will survive at least another day. Okay, worker repairing. Yeah, this is just absolutely crazy here. Goblin Tinker does have 1,100 hit points. Look at how long that health bar looks after, because the Goblin Tinker's size is just that large. Back down here, we're looking at more perhaps training getting underway here. We see army being nearby. The question is it's going to be Charm going up against Farseer's Earthquake and the Naga Sea Witch's Tornado. Both of those abilities have the threat of taking down your opponent's expansions pretty easily and quickly. Meanwhile, what is this? Dark Ranger trying to rush on in here. What can it really do? Putting in a little bit of pressure, and now just going to go ahead and teleport back out. All right, Staff of Teleportation here, putting in a bit of pressure once more. Robo Goblin, Dark Ranger from Foggy. There's another possession once more, as we're seeing a little bit of feedback damage. Does it actually take feedback damage? I actually don't know for certain, as that technically is a mechanical unit. And now the Dark Ranger is trying to retreat back away. All right, it does not take feed. Well, no, it does take feedback there, as the Goblin Tinker is still trying to retreat back once more. Dark Ranger still low on mana again. Farseer comes into the main base, gets in earthquakes as well, takes down only one building, as we see the Dark Ranger coming across with that silence again. In comes Tornado in order to try and take down more buildings, and now the Dark Ranger is actually low on mana, unable to do anything else here, as the Dark Ranger going to be forced to use mana on another silence, picking up a potion of mana from the shop, as the Naga Sea Witch now retreats back. All right, it is the game of cooldowns now. Earthquake and Tornado. How are those cooldowns going to be effective, as the Farseer is now back on the far side here trying to engage? It has really no way out of this spot. It's going to try and break free. Scroll of Town Portal is going to be necessary. One final Chain Lightning, but unable to finish off that many units. Teleporting back home. What was that? A Tome of Retraining? Oh, it is a Tome of Retraining. It is Robo Goblin Cluster Rockets, and as well as Foggy needs another way to stop all of those channeled abilities. Foggy opting to use Cluster Rockets, being able to stop in addition to the silence of that Dark Ranger. Coming back around. All right, there's some Cluster Rockets. There's some damage there across multiple units. Goblin Tinker now looking to back away once more. There's a little bit of damage. There is a possession, and that was pretty much saying Foggy playing a great game, saying, hey, I have a Goblin Tinker here. Don't you want to do something about it? Only to, grab and possess one of those Spellbreakers the moment it came back out. All right, Naga Sea Witch actually in some trouble here. Spirit Link trying to break free. Naga Sea Witch now trying to, shake out of this tough spot, as we're looking at the Goblin Tinker and the Dark Ranger continuing to make moves and pressure over here on the bottom left. Scroll of Town Portal by Inspired, teleporting back home again. Needs to get healed up, as we're looking at the Goblin Tinker getting completely surrounded. This is actually a major misstep. Goblin Tinker needs to break away, and it looks like it will be able to teleport out without any problems or issues. Foggy now up to 72 supply compared to 50. Inspired has base killing potential, but unable to really stop and get in the position at all, as there is defensive units all across the map. All right, I guess trying to wait out the gold is one way to do it, as there seems to be a bit more gold for Foggy left in the gold mines than Inspired. All right, Farsi are going to get into position here, perhaps try to land an earthquake when it is available. However, the Goblin Tinker and the Dark Ranger are both very much nearby. Taking down some of these orc burrows could be beneficial as well, as it would supply block his opponent and also give the Farseer a bit of experience. All right, taking down a good cluster of buildings. Here we are, Staff of Teleportation. The Farseer gonna quickly get silenced right there and now try to make its way back off to the north. Robo Goblin now making its way back across as well. Meanwhile, the Farseer is going to try and get in some sort of situation and now in trouble. Oddly enough, Inspire going to try and break free here. Does have a scroll of Town Portal and is forced to use it again. Crazy matchup so far. Will there be another game after? No, there will not be another game after. All right, and what is this? Inspired now actually going for a third hero this late in the game. Inspired trying to find a way to make something happen here. There are Griffins out on the battlefield, but with Charm already available for the Dark Ranger of Foggy, that Griffin may come back to bite him even further. Naga Sea Witch, Mana Shield ready to go. Farseer getting ready to make some sort of move as well, as the Robo Goblin and Dark Ranger pick off some more units, picking up a Potion of Greater Mana. That could be given to the Dark Ranger, yep, to try to get more possessions off as well. Charm will now lead to high upkeep. No, not attractive to anyone. That does become a problem, but in the middle of a battle, you will often end up losing units. So if you're able to swap units right there, it could actually be worth it. Dark Ranger now going to try and perhaps pull back here. We'll see what's going to be coming here next. We're looking at a 60 supply army compared to 80. We do have Griffin Riders with Inner Fire, and now we see a Tauren Chieftain as that third and final hero, who also has Stomp. Stomp in that front line could stun down those Taurens long enough, as the army is now, well, for the first time in a long time, moving off together. All right, units are trying to get away. Here we are. Farseer going to engage here. Kodo Beast not going to be able to get into position at all. There's a couple of Spirit Walkers here as well. I don't see a Staff of Teleportation inbound at all. 83 Foggy purposely trying to dodge high upkeep here as we're looking into an engagement. Was there some sort of possession? Again, not quite sure. Taurens are off to the side, and now into an engagement. Spirit Walkers are getting taken down as the Griffins are actually causing a bit of a problem. All right, there comes a couple of stunned Griffins. Going to go ahead and turncoat right there as the Taurens still able to dish out a lot of damage. Farseer trying to retreat all the way to the far back. Tauren Chieftain here perhaps should be using a couple of stomps, constantly getting stunned, as we see resurrections on Foggy's Spirit Walkers and some of those Taurens as well. There goes a stun for that front line, but the Griffin Rider is not going to be able to be enough. Foggy seems like he has enough gas in the tank, as the Robo Goblin being forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal. This is going to be key. A Chain Lightning off of the Robo Goblin off down to the south here could spell the difference here, but the Goblin Tinker, I forgot, is a mechanical unit, cannot be hit by Chain Lightning. There's some more cluster rockets as well, as the Goblin Tinker now trying to retreat back once more. Tauren Chieftain trying to fall back here. He's going to get taken down without a problem, but what is this? An earthquake amongst the battle to slow down the units and get a little bit of separation. Cluster rockets finding the Farseer. Farseer could use a Staff of Sanctuary to try and save that Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain gets up to level 2. More units are still engaging here, as there's that Staff of Sanctuary bringing the unit back home. Units trying to retreat back. That is a lot of low hit point Taurens, as those Taurens could easily get taken down as well. Spirit Walkers are getting taken down as another charmed Griffin turncoats as well. Farseer could be in a lot of trouble. Down to 85 hit points, down to 41, able to survive. There's the invisibility, as we see a Purge go down onto the Griffin Rider. That could spell problems. However, the Goblin Tinker down to 144 hit points. It looks like it's going to be able to back away. Also has a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Farseer, Naga Sea Witch using Staff of Sanctuary to try and save units. Foggy with a 71 supply to 44 advantage, as the Dark Ranger has been turning units to the red side throughout much of this match. All right, the Dark Ranger could try and, grab another unit or two as well. Let's take a look at this. Dark Ranger going to finish off some units. Oh, the Farseer is dangerously low on hit points. What is going down in this matchup here, as the Dark Ranger now trying to pull back here and grabs another Griffin. Another Griffin has been turned as well, as Foggy continuing to try and use these Taurens effectively. Another Griffin is out in the air as well to try and poke down some of this damage. Farseer is a bit in the backfield here. It needs a Staff of Sanctuary in order to get saved in the back. There's another Staff of Sanctuary on to that Tauren Chieftain as the Farseer is in position here and able to, well, fight next to a whole bunch of guard towers. All right, the guard tower is now finally being effective, and how much damage will be had as level 7 now on that Farseer as the units are trying to put in a bit more pressure. All right, trying to finish off. There's another Chain Lightning bouncing around, and Inspired fighting at that home field advantage, really racking up a bit of damage. All right. You should be trying to Staff of Sanctuary the remaining units as well here, trying to get every bit of hit points that you can. Inspired down to 4,000 gold here. Meanwhile, Foggy still has 3,800 gold here and no more gold mine here. So we are down to the final 2 gold mines left on this map. Tauren Chieftain fully healed back up. Farseer not too shabby either. Where is the Naga Sea Witch at this point? Naga Sea Witch already leading the charge out into this forward spot, and if it could try and perhaps take down this location here, but there is plenty of units all in position once more. All right, Naga Sea Witch, where is it going to perhaps try to head off to as the Goblin Tinker getting into position as well? 46 supply compared to 73. The army size, oh, there was a random, it looks like there was a random disenchant, and now the Griffin going to go ahead and turn the tide as well. In comes a Stomp to try and slow things down, but there are just so many Griffins by Foggy. Foggy using Charm very effectively. Difficult to not use it effectively as you just take the most expensive unit, one-click it, and it turns colors. Farseer, Naga Sea Witch, Tauren Chieftain look like they may all be falling here. I believe Foggy can pretty much just A-move with this army and pick off unit after unit after unit as possession will soon be back once more. Dark Ranger continuing the charge after that. Those the Clockwork Pocket Rockets just, well, bursting down many of those units, chipping away at Inspired's army. 79 supply here. Foggy purposely staying out of high upkeep, but does pick up a level 10 Dragon Turtle for good measure. It does have Devour. It does have some powerful abilities as well. It's not a unit or a mercenary that you see often, but well, we'll see what is going to go down here. No auras, however, as we're looking at the Griffin Riders getting healed back up. Turtle can shoot Shockwave. All right. All right. Dragon Turtle now making its way out across the field here. A giant 2,000 hit point Turtle leading the charge once more. Are we going to perhaps pick up another mercenary? Finding a scout farm here. That's just going to get bursted down here. That is a lot of low hit point Taurens. I'm surprised that they're still sticking around as we're going to be going into a bit of an engagement here. All right, Dragon Turtle was able to get off a shockwave here. There's those rockets once again and able to deal damage from a distance. There is that little wave, that blue wave right there, and a bunch more rocket damage there. One more, down to 6 hit points across multiple buildings. I believe that Dragon Turtle is just going to be able to push on through. There goes a whole bunch of destroyed buildings, and this is just what you want. A lot of the ability to just do damage towards guard towers from range. That is pretty much going to be it. You see one final last-ditch effort stomp right there, but this game is over. 76 supply compared to 46. Cluster rockets stunning down a couple of units. Are we going to see a charm? Yes, of course we are. Staff of Teleportation, Naga Sea, which comes back around, but it may be too little too late as we see more of that blue wave putting pressure and now stunning down many of those units once more. Staff of Sanctuary only teleports you within the fight there. There's a monsoon or a tornado right there as well. Quick disenchant, and now the Naga Sea Witch is going to get stunned down as well. All right, level 8, level 7 heroes unable to deal with the 2 level 7 heroes of Foggy. Foggy getting the better ultimate ability in that charm, and that charm did make a very big impact right there as we are looking at an Ice Revenant joining in on the fight, perhaps getting in some Blizzard and some Frost Novas as well. Great game between the two. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Inspired, although he had the higher score, unable to get away with the victory. Let me know what you guys think about all the random matchups. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.